Today I will be talking about the GMAT and GRE. In Bluesky Education, I am working here as an academic head and also the quant expert for GMAT, GRE and ACT. So while talking about the GMAT and GRE, first we need to know what are the full form of these two. GRE is basically the graduate record examination, whereas the GMAT stands for Graduate Management Admission Test. Now, what is the basic difference between these two and what are the similarities that we have to understand first. For example, if you talk about in terms of score, GRE scores out of 340, whereas GMAT score in nowadays out of 805. Earlier, it used to happen for out of 800. In GRE, there is mainly two sections, but there are also two more sections, that is AWA and some optional. So how it is coming along? In GRE, there is total 6 sections, 2 quant fixed and 2 verbal fixed, and 1 is optional. Now, whether the optional will be your quant or the optional will be your verbal, you never know. So you have to give your best for each and every section to get your desired score. And apart from this 5 section, there is one more section which is called AWA. The full form for that is Analytical Writing Assessment. In AWA, there is 2 sections. One is writing an issue and your opinion to that issue. If you want to get admission in any of the top Ivy League colleges like Stanford, Oxford and so, you should have a better score in the AWA score also. For example, the AWA score is out of 0 to 6 with a score range of 0.5. Like someone can have 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, so and so. But if you really want to get into a top school like Ivy League colleges, right? So there you should have the score for 5 or above, because many students around the globe is coming and also they're competing with you. Now, as I also have said for the AWA, now if you go for the other 2 sections like quant and verbal, the one similarities between these two, each and every section for quant and verbal, they have 20 questions. For example, for first section of quant, we'll have 20 questions but 35 minutes. There is a little less amount of time for verbal. For example, for 20 questions of verbal, there will be 30 minutes. So if you see the average for the verbal question, that will be 1.5 minutes. Whereas for the quant, the average timing will be 1 minute and 45 seconds. So on an average for each quant questions, you are getting 15 seconds more. But obviously if they are giving you 15 seconds more, there must be a little bit of more critical way of doing it, right? So GRE is all about total 6 sections. 5 consist of quant and verbal. So those 5 can be 3 quant, 2 verbal or 3 verbal, 2 quant. Out of 5, any one can be optional. So neither me or not the GRE also never know, but it comes with a certain algorithm, like one of the total which has come obviously for thrice, it will go for the optional. But you never know, the first one can be the optional and the last one out of this 5 can also be the optional. So you have to give your best for each and every sections. Clear? Now if I talk about the GMAT, earlier in GMAT there used to be 3 sections. What are those sections? Earlier it was verbal, quant and IR. What is IR? So obviously I hope you have understood what is the verbal. Verbal means it mainly consists of the English part, where it used to have in verbal section it used to have the sentence correction, critical reasoning and the reading comprehension. 3 things earlier was inside the verbal. And in the quant section, it was problem solving and data sufficiency. So while doing this problem solving and data sufficiency, and in the IR section there were some different type of questions, like some question is consist of graphs, some question is consist of like MSR, that we short call it as MSR. It's multi-source reasoning. Now what is a multi-source reasoning is basically, suppose to answer one particular question you have to see three you can say three tabs, right? So while answering the questions you can go to those tabs, and you sometimes there is some interlinked between the tabs, and you have to find the links if needed, and you have to get back the answers. Earlier the 800 score was only comprised of the verbal and quant, like it was the score of 200 to 600 with a interval of 10 points, right? So like someone cannot have less than 200 or no one can have more than 800. So earlier it used to be like 200, 210, 220, 230, 550, 560, 660, 670, 680, 720, 730, 780, 790 and 800, right? But now the score has changed from 205 to 805. So what I was saying, earlier this score of 800 was only comprises of verbal and quant. Now there is a little bit of change in the current GMAT focus edition. So the earlier function we still calling it as a GMAT original, and the current version we are calling as GMAT focus. So in GMAT focus there is certain changes. Now in earlier section, that is the IR section, so in the IR section there was total 12 questions. So out of 12 questions it was measured in the range from 1 to 8. So now this has been a little bit of change. Now it was like this 800 was comprises of quant and verbal. IR used to be calculated separately, but now all these things has been calculated together out of 205 to 805. But earlier in verbal there was 3 sections: critical reasoning, sentence correction and reading comprehension. Now the sentence correction has been removed from the verbal section. Now the current GMAT focus edition, the verbal is only comprised of critical reasoning and reading comprehension. And in the quant, earlier it used to the problem solving and data sufficiency, but the data sufficiency has been taken out from quant, and now in the quant section there is only problem solving. Now SC has been completely removed from the GMAT syllabus. Now the data sufficiency which has been taken from the quantitative section, that has been taken, and they have the IR section, that is the MSR or the graph related question, that has been given in the new section called data interpretation. So now in GMAT there is 3 sections: verbal, which comprise of only reading comprehension and critical reasoning, and in the quant there is only problem solving, and in the data interpretation it is consist of the quantcom, data sufficiency from the mathematics section and MSR. Now if you talk, so this is all about the GMAT and GRE, the score division, the different sections. This is all in a nutshell. Now if you ask me which one is needed for which examination or which course, that understanding, that is very important. GMAT earlier used to be only accepted around the globe, not in India, but for few last years the GMAT is also accepted in the top B schools like IIM A, B, C, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, or if you go for any of the IIMs or any top-notch universities in India for business school like XLRI, or if you go for SP Jain, so they are also accepting the good GMAT score. Now then when to go for the GRE? GRE is mainly for the students, those who wants to go study abroad for their master degree program like MS mainly or PhD. If someone wants to go for any PhD program abroad, he or she need to have a very good score for GRE, obviously based on the respective universities, because we have seen with 315 also students are getting admission to certain university, and also with 325 is also not sometimes sufficient to get into a university, because it may be possible on that particular university for that particular score many students with some more score of GRE, suppose 330, 332 and so they are applying to it. So if you really want to go for any PhD program, whether it's a USA or top universities in Europe, so you should have a very good score for GRE. Now in current days, I have seen many universities abroad, they are not only taking the GMAT score, they are also taking the equivalent GRE score. Now what is the meaning of equivalent GRE score? So as I have told you earlier, the GMAT score range in current days in the GMAT Focus Edition, the GMAT score range is in between 205 to 805. So if someone is getting suppose 675, right? So we have seen I have seen with my experience that it is almost 90 percentile of the total score, right? Now and also on the same time, someone with the score of 765 can have 100 percentile. Now I know some of you might have some questions in your mind. So as the question is out of 805, so with 765 how can someone have 100 percentile, right? So now the question is, percentile and percentage is two completely different things. You have to know the difference between this. For an example, suppose two students is sitting for an exam, right? And the total score is 100. Suppose the student who has topped the exam or came first in the exam has scored suppose 90, okay, and another student who has scored suppose 72. Now we can say the top student has scored 90%, not percentile, but the student has topped, that's why his score is 100 percentile. Also on the second case, the student who has received 72, he scored a 72% score, but his 72, if you calculate with respect to 90, it is 80 percentile. So though he has scored a 72, his percentage is 72, but his percentile is 80. So the percentile is always calculated on the behalf of the top score. So as I said you already, getting 765 might give you also the 100 percentile score. It depends at the day of the exam how many students has appeared for the exam, and out of those what was the total score. Based on that the percentile is actually calculated. So I hope this things is a little bit of clear, like when to give the GMAT and where to give the GMAT, and in which case you should give the GRE and which case you should give the so and so. This both GMAT and GRE, both the exams you can appear 5 times in a calendar year. So what is the meaning of calendar year? So the January 1st to December 31st, suppose we are currently in the 2024, right? So from January 2024 to December 31st 24, so anyone can appear for the GRE or GMAT exam maximum for 5 times, whereas you can appear for maximum 12 times in your lifetime. But that is not needed. I'm just telling you for the general information. Suppose if someone wants to sit, so how to register for this exam is also important, right? So as this GRE is being conducted by the ETS, and GMAT is conducted by the GMAT. So suppose today evening you have taken a slot, you will get your GRE score then and then. Whether it's a GRE or GMAT score, you will get then and then. Suppose you are not satisfied with your exam, maybe for some reason you couldn't perform well. So what you can do, for the very next day also, if you want, you can book your test and you can go for the exam. Or also within next 5 days, if you think that you are prepared, for some reason on that day you couldn't perform well, so that's how also you can sit for the exam within next couple of days and you can go for it. So there is a super flexibility for both the exam of GRE and GMAT. It's unlike the CAT, which is available in the Indian education system to get into any B school, because in CAT what happened, you can only appear for once in a year. I don't know if something disaster might happen on that day. Suppose you might fall ill, or there is some other like emergencies at your home, so you might not appear for the day for the exam. So your entire year of preparation will be in vain, right? But there is a little bit of advantage for this GRE and GMAT with respect to this CAT, because you can appear for within next 7 days also, and next day also, and within next month also. So it's completely at your flexibility. So whenever you feel like you are 100% prepared after giving certain number of mocks and after preparing from our end, from Blue Sky Education, so you will be super ready for it and you can give the mock, right? So this, I think this information is enough, and if you still do have any kind of doubt and any kind of questions, you can always get back to us in our office or in our registered mobile number or to our website. Thank you everyone. Happy learning.